Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and this is your coronavirus tech news for Thursday, April 2nd of 2020. Now, roughly half of the global population right now is in lockdown as I am sitting here talking to you now, and that number continues to increase. And one of the hardest groups hit with less coping skills than most for a lockdown like this are the extroverts of the world. We love to get out there, and now we're sitting at home. And so our first news article is actually coming from Yahoo News, talking about that a little bit. And this article is entitled Social Dis-Dance. Get it? Dis-Dance? Basically, clubbing around the world is going online. Now, this started in China when basically this virus first started to emerge, that DJs and night spots actually started live streaming their performances basically when the pinnacle of the outbreak was in China, although I question if it is as now better as they say it is, but that's beside the point. This now phenomenon of clubs and DJs basically doing this online to the people that would normally go to their clubs is moving worldwide, and we are seeing this spring up in Paris, to London, to Sydney, to New York City, even here in Chicago. Now, I bring this up, one, because it's on the lighter side, and not everything has to be doom and gloom in the middle of a pandemic, even though we are in the middle of a pandemic. And two, I'm wondering how this is actually going to change the nightlife scene for several large cities in the future once we emerge and get away from this. I don't think clubbing and going out is going to stop, for those people that enjoy it, but I'm wondering if that population is going to decline by virtue of this. A lot of people may be more reticent to go out, even the extroverts in the world. And I happen to count myself in one of those, even though I'm not really a club person. So I thought that was very interesting news, because that is one industry that you think would be decimated, and they are attempting to adapt by using the technology around them. Next up, we're going to go to Vice News for a little more drab news and unfortunate news, and we're going to be talking about Amazon. Now, if you didn't know, they actually fired a worker that was talking publicly about the coronavirus and attempted to organize a strike and a walk-off at the Staten Island warehouse. Now, Amazon fired this warehouse worker, Christian Smalls, on Monday after he led a walkout of a number of employees at that Staten Island area. And Amazon says he was fired for violating a company-imposed 14-day quarantine after he came into contact with an employee who tested positive for the coronavirus. Now, here's where this gets interesting, and the reason why I'm talking about this is that leaked notes from an internal meeting of Amazon's leadership, basically obtained by Vice News, reveal that executives had planned to actually smear this individual, Christian Smalls, by calling him not smart or articulate as part of a PR strategy to make him, quote, the face of the entire union organizing movement. Obviously, Amazon, being the massive employer, they are not fan of collective bargaining, I would imagine, in any way, shape, or form, which would include unions. To quote, he's not smart or articulate, and to the extent the press wants to focus on us versus him, we will be in a much stronger PR position than simply explaining for the umpteenth time how we're trying to protect the workers. And this is from Amazon General Counsel David Zaplosky in notes from this meeting that was basically forwarded around the company and Amazon, and then obviously Vice News got a hold of this. The discussion took place at a daily meeting, which included their CEO and founder, Jeff Bezos, basically, and the goal was to update, the heads of the company were to update each other on their various sectors for the coronavirus situation. And so Amazon's SVP of Global Corporate Affairs, Jay Carney, I'm wondering if that's the former press secretary to President Obama, described the purpose to CNN on Sunday, and I quote, we go over the update on what's happening around the world with our employees and with our customers and our business. We also spend a significant amount of time just brainstorming about what else we can do about COVID-19. Now, I'm posting this here, or rather talking about this here, not because I'm getting political on this. I don't care what your stance is on labor unions and politics and all that kind of stuff. I am simply stating the facts on the ground as obtained by Vice News. But I want to say this, if Amazon goes down, we're in very serious trouble, at least here in North America. We're screwed. We have let them become the largest, hands down, distributor of absolutely everything, and if they have a serious problem, or they go out, or their workers walk out, or that whole company gets infected with coronavirus, we've got a very serious problem. And in that sense, I think Amazon needs to address this in a more transparent way than what this is. Again, not getting political here. Wherever you are on the political spectrum, that's your business. But I think we can all agree, if Amazon goes down, oh my God, that is going to be a huge, huge issue. And next up, we're going to be going to Reuters here. They had an interesting article called "World Risks Sleepwalking into Surveillance with Coronavirus Controls." And this is something I completely agree with. Today, about 100 civil rights and privacy groups issued a statement on the growing concerns over mass surveillance that basically every government on the planet seems to be rolling out during this pandemic. Now, some of the highlight quotes, and I've talked about this before, but highlight quotes from this statement or statements from people that are part of this, and I quote, "An increase in state digital surveillance powers, such as obtaining access to mobile phone location data, threatens privacy, freedom of expression, and freedom of association." I would agree with that. That gives the government the ability to track individuals, not just above and beyond, let's say, what they're saying online by looking into Facebook, which they already do, but now if they're on the mobile phone, they can see two people tracking, and if one person is, for whatever reason, deemed undesirable by the government, that could be a possible issue. And they could also start building classification lists for people that could be undesirable, or whatever term you want to use for it. To continue with another quote, "Governments risk compounding the harm of this outbreak by running roughshod over our privacy and dignity." Now, I think there's a lot of truth into that as well. We've seen, thanks to Edward Snowden back in 2013, 2014 or so, that the government loves to surveil, and why not use something like this to increase that up? Now, to quote something in that vein, "The recent past has shown governments are reluctant to relinquish temporary surveillance powers," and I think that's very true as well. We are all watching the country of Hungary right now that just gave emergency powers to somebody that many people consider a fascist. Again, not getting political here, but Hungary might be that beta test for the rest of the world as they step up their lockdown as well. "We must not sleepwalk into a permanent expanded surveillance state now." I completely agree with that as well. And finally, there will be an aftermath of the COVID-19 outbreak. We must ensure that the measures governments are taking right now do not transform this health crisis into a global human rights crisis. And I think that's correct as well. You've seen me talk quite a bit about the things that we have in terms, and here, at least here in the United States, with lack of laws as we continue to ramp up surveillance, because our technology, which is giving us the ability to actually surveil people, is far outpassing or surpassing the laws that we have on the books. So I think that's a very serious problem. And I think that's something that we all need to consider, because it's technology that is driving this, which is why it's in this video and podcast. And finally, here are some of the latest intelligence courtesy of the COVID-19 Threat Coalition. All of these were basically discovered or broadcast in the last few hours and aggregated by the COVID-19 Threat Coalition, or discovered by them. And I think, this is why we're doing this. And so the first one is something called CoViper. This is a new malware family that is taking advantage of the COVID-19 crisis. Now, this was first discovered by Avast Security, and based on what they discovered during their analysis, they have reason to believe that it is attracting victims by masquerading as a file related to the coronavirus. So you might get an email that basically says, here, click here to download this coronavirus tracker, this coronavirus whatever, and that is something that is going to not just install itself on your computer, but also wipe it out. Wiper malwares like to go ahead and wipe things out. So that's a very serious issue. This is why we shouldn't be opening anything or clicking on links. Anything to do with the coronavirus, go to the website yourself. Nothing you should have to download there. And also, North Korea has been busy the last few hours per discoveries here. Now, a lot of this is attacking South Korea right now, but in South Korea, something is called HWP. So an HWP document containing COVID-19 content basically is hitting South Korea in phishing right now, and seems to be utilized by the Lazarus Group. This is a state-sponsored hacking group from everything we understand, and is also considered an advanced persistent threat, and they are coming out of North Korea, hitting South Korea. Not to be outdone, there is another North Korean state-sponsored hacking group called Kimsuki or Kimsucky, and they are disguising themselves as the EEAS or European External Action Service. And so if you are in South Korea, and I do have viewers in South Korea, please make sure that if you are seeing any HWP documents or anything from the European External Action Service or EEAS, understand this could be North Korean hackers trying to break into your life. That is real-time intelligence from the last couple of hours, courtesy of the COVID-19 Cyber Threat Coalition. And if you're in cybersecurity, please join our cause. We can use all the help that we can get. And with that, that is your coronavirus tech news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.